morning. Today we're going to discuss with regard to Java how we are going to declare a variable and how to use that variable. In the previous class, we have been discussing what are the different data types in C. We have integer variable, byte, short, int and long. Then floating point variables like float and double, and then we have boolean values and character data type. Those are the different data types in C. And now I'm going to declare a variable. For example, if I want to declare a variable, declare declaration of a variable, declaration of a variable. The syntax is type followed by variable name. This is the syntax. For example, if I am going to have, say, I am going to define a variable a as an integer value, then I am going to have int a. Int a means here I have declared a variable a and it is of type int. As I told you earlier, an integer is allocated 4 bytes. So 4 bytes has been allocated for a. And now if you want to initialize this variable as equal to 10, you can have a as an equal to 10 after that. That means you have defined a variable a and now it is initialized to 10. So this is equivalent to, you can have a statement like int a equal to 10. That means here it is as a single statement, you are going to define the variable or declare the variable a and that is initialized to 10. And now you can have another statement like int a equal to 10, b, c equal to 20. Now I have defined three variables a, b and c. Now a is initialized to 10, b is not initialized and c is equal to 20. C is initialized to 20. So this is the way we are going to declare variables. And now I am going to have another declaration like double, say a equal to 3.0, b is equal to 2.712, etc. That means here I have declared two variables a and b, and a is initialized to 3.0 and b is initialized to 2.712. Then we have dynamic initialization. For example, suppose that I am going to have, say, here I have two variables double a equal to 3.0 and b is equal to say 4.0, and now I'm going to find root of a square plus b square. That means suppose that this is the base and this is the height, and if you want to find out the hypotenuse, length of the hypotenuse, then it is root of a square plus b square. Then you can have a statement like double c is equal to math dot sqrt, math dot square. This is a system defined, this is a system, that means this is a library, math library, and in that library we have a square root function, and we are going to use that math dot square root, and inside this we are going to have a into a plus b into b. That means here a into a plus b into b, that means a square plus b square, and square root of that is calculated and that is assigned to c. Okay, this is the way you can initialize variables of a variable. Say, here in this example, class example, here I have defined a variable a, and we have a public static void main. Inside that, I have defined a variable b equal to int b equal to 7. Now, this int a, the scope of this is limited to this class. That means this is every object you are creating from this example. It is having a variable a, and the scope of the variable is through the entire object. In this object, that means from this class you can create another object, and in that object everywhere you can access this int a. But integer b, int b equal to 7, that is inside this function, and the visibility or the scope of this function, scope of this variable b is limited to from this point to this point. That means after that, outside this block, that means public static void main, this is a function, and inside that function only you can access this b equal to 7. For example, after that, here if you are trying to have a statement like b is equal to 10, that means inside this you have int b equal to 7, and when if you are trying to use that outside this block, then it will generate error. Then it will create error. Why? The scope of this variable b is limited to this block. And now you have an integer c, and this is another class which is defined. That means in the same file you can have another class, and in that class we have another variable c, and suppose that if you are trying to access this c from this, then again that will generate an error. That means if you are defining or declaring a variable inside a block, outside that block is not visible. That means scope of that variable is limited to that function only. For example, this is a function f, and suppose that if a less than b, suppose that here you have a block, and here inside this if, that means here this is a block, this is another block. That means this function is from here to here, and this if block is limited to this portion. And now inside that, suppose that I am going to have int say abc, and this abc variable abc is visible only inside this block. That means scope of this variable is inside this block. That means here the visibility of a particular variable is inside a particular block. If it is a class variable, then whatever you are creating from that class, the variable will be accessible to everyone who is using that class. And if you are defining or declaring a variable inside a function, then the scope of that variable is limited to that function. And if you are defining a variable inside a particular block, then that is limited to that block. Okay, and that's all about scope of a variable.